Guys, bottom line here for this Knicks season is, are they good enough to win an NBA championship? They are all in with the Towns trade, with the Bridges trade, and with the way that they've used their draft assets. So, Brian, I want to start with you. What do you think about the talent on this roster? Is the group good enough to win an NBA title?
You know, one thing we have to bring up is the way the Knicks were acting this offseason. I really thought they did win the NBA championship. They were the toast of the town in New York. So the hard-playing, gritty, grimy team that, let's be honest, from January on, they were the second best team in the NBA last year, especially after the OG Anunoby trade. Are they going to continue to be that team? Or are they reading their press clippings because they got to the second round and they played tough? And I got to admit, I like watching them play. I think they have a great team, but it's all about their mindset. If they're going to be tough, they're going to be the same Knicks team that tried to prove everybody that they were a championship level team. They'll be just fine.
Frank, where are you on this Knicks team? Championship level?
Yeah, and I agree with Brian on a couple of things. I think Josh Hart was probably celebrated more than Jason Tatum was. Then again, neither of them played that much at the Olympics, so maybe it's somewhat even there. I love what the Knicks did. You haven't been to the finals since 1999. You haven't been to the conference finals since 2000. They made a nice run last year. Obviously, injuries played into it. I love what they did during the offseason, just in terms of wanting to get better. My only issue would be, with the guys that they got rid of, I think Dante DiVincenzo gave you some mental and physical toughness. Obviously, Isaiah Hartenstein, he left on his own because he wanted to make more money. I felt like he gave you some toughness, both mentally and physically. So that would be my biggest thing. But, they're an excellent team. Come playoff time, assuming everyone is healthy, they will be a difficult team to knock out. Tom coaches them hard all year long, and Brian knows Tom as well as anybody. He played for him in Chicago. In fact, when Brian played for him, Brunson was on that staff. He knows Darren Erman from his days with the Boston Celtics. He knows Andy Greer. So Brian has pretty good, even though Brian is going to be wearing that leprechaun outfit tomorrow night up in Boston, he knows the Knicks and has a pretty close relationship with a lot of people over there.
Let's go there, guys, with Tom Thibodeau. Brian, what have you thought of the job he's done? Obviously gets the extension this offseason, so he's going to be here for a while, assuming things go well. Just your thoughts on what he's done as the head coach of this team.
Yeah, this is what I expect from Tom Thibodeau. From the very first year I played for him in Chicago when he got his first head coaching job to this year, this guy doesn't leave any stones unturned. And it's just a matter of this. His best player is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson loves Tom Thibodeau. Jalen Brunson will run through a wall to make sure that he wins. The head coach, the best player, they're on the same page. I think their team will follow suit. So I think it's a perfect fit for Thibodeau and the Knicks.
And Frank, when you look at this group, Karl Towns, OG Anunoby in particular, injury history, does Tom Thibodeau have to adjust anything with regards to minutes, playing time, anything like that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that'll always be an issue, but I think Tom, the one thing that he does, and I heard Steve Clifford has said this to me before in the past, and when he talked about the Boston Celtics, obviously Steve Clifford coached under both Jeff Van Gundy when Tom was on the staff with the Knicks. You practice the way you want to play. You try to prepare every day like a championship team, and that's why I appreciate what Boston did last year. They finished with the best record in the NBA, and then they won the 16 playoff games. So everybody tells you that the NBA regular season doesn't mean anything. Try telling that to the Boston Celtics. They seem to take care of business, and I think Tom goes into it the same way. Brian mentioned two key names, Tom and also Rick Brunson. The one thing about the New York Knicks, I think when you look at this organization, let's give Leon Rose some credit, William Wesley, Worldwide West as well. I think the Knicks they're just more serious of an organization, and I think that comes from your head coach and your star player. It's all business with them. It doesn't mean that they don't have fun. It doesn't mean there can't be some lighthearted moments, but they're very committed to trying to win all the time. And I think that trickles down to everyone on the team. And I think you saw that from the fans last year. I think they embraced this team really like they did a lot of those teams in the 90s. It was a very likable team because they come and they play hard every night. They give everything they have. And let's face it, Ian, you know this from covering for so long. There's always up and down, peaks and valleys in NBA season. Some crazy stuff happens. But with this Knicks squad, you always know what the goal is. It's a lot like when Pat Riley coached in New York, a lot like what Jeff Van Gundy did. It's all about trying to win a championship.